Hello Cruising World, Mick the Suit Guy with you. Now I have been absent from duty for a couple of weeks. You're wondering why? This is why. Somebody had a little accident running around while he was trying to exercise during this little pandemic. I go hiking all the time, right? Almost every morning I go these trails, I hike, climb, do all this stuff. Never had an accident. I go running around the local area, break my ankle. So I've been dealing with that for a little while. Consequently, I found myself a matching suit to go with my lovely little casket, I was going to call it here. My lovely little cast I've got on the end here that I got to honour my wife because Julie's favourite colour is pink. Anyway, so if you're looking for a little bulge here, that's my microphone coming out like that because I can't hold it properly anymore. Anyways, what am I going to talk to you about today? Has nothing to do with this because this was my next plan one to do anyway, but in honor of my good friend Bareball Cruising, check out the, subscribe to that page there on YouTube. But my good friend has always been asking me a lot of questions about how Carnival approaches passengers and guests with disabilities. So what I wanted to do was go over how Carnival approaches that, how they deal with the American Care with Disabilities Act, and all that good stuff. Now, as travel agents, and we are travel agents if you didn't already know, we get to do a lot of training with Carnival, so we get to do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So I was doing some training on this and it's very interesting and I found out a lot of really good information and I'm going to share that with you. So I took a lot of screenshots of the training slides that we did and I'm going to put together a little presentation for you in a second. It runs about 15 minutes but it covers everything. So, and there's a really, really useful web page on the Carnival site. I'm going to put a link at the end of this too in the comments section that you'll be able to click on. Definitely, if this is something that will affect you or you're unsure about anything on there, look at that link. It's got a lot of really good information on there. Plus, you'll see there's a link on there where you really kind of want to contact Carnival in advance and let them know you're coming so they're ready and they've got everything taken care of that you might need on board. But I'll cover all that with you in a second. So, here we go. Let's see what Carnival does for you. So what is the American with Disabilities Act, ADA, as they say here? Well, it covers, but is not limited to, visual, hearing, mobility, and invisible disabilities. And we're going to cover those with you right now. Basically, it prohibits denying participation, providing unequal or separate benefits, and discrimination based on relationships with an individual with a disability. And there's some requirements there, but we're going to go over them more with you individually as it pertains to what Carnival's policies are. So there is a really, really helpful page on their website, and I'm going to put the link to this in the comments section at the end of this video on the YouTube page there. But that link there, the carnival.com about special needs, that will give you a whole lot of information, and I'm going to base a lot of that on what I'm going to talk to you about right now. So let's get to that, shall we? This is what the page will look like when you get there. You'll see all the main titles across the top, from accessibility on board all the way across to web accessibility. So we're going to cover some of the stuff on here. This first page here, accessibility aboard, is really useful and helpful for you when you want to establish which particular cabins are accessible for you. So at the bottom, you'll see that they have some PDFs of each particular ship you can click on. And when you do that, you're going to come up with a diagram just like this. Now, I added those red arrows, but you'll see on the right-hand side, it shows you, and we're going to cover this in a second, the three main types of staterooms that are available. You have fully accessible cabin. This is designed for use by guests with highly limited or no mobility who require regular use of a wheelchair, scooter, or other similar assistive devices. Basically, what this is saying is one or both of you needs it, and you need to have access to both sides of the bed, say, everything in the cabin, you need to be able to turn around fully everywhere you go. So everywhere in that cabin is accessible. The second side, the single side approach, this may be where one of the guests doesn't need the full access to everything. So the second bed, if there's two beds or one bed at one side of the bed, may be up against the window. There may only be access that's approachable from one side of the bed, if that makes sense. So that's the same description, but you don't get it on both sides. And then the last one with the ambulatory accessible cabin. This is designed for use by guests with mobility disabilities who do not require the regular use of a wheelchair, scooter, or other similar assistive devices. That would apply to people like me in my cast with my broken leg right now. So when you do this and you are cruising on that main page, the second column there is mobility limitations. There is a link there, I've highlighted it with the arrow on the right, there's a mobility questionnaire which you will need to fill out. this is what it will look like. So you fill that out, and then when you're finished, at the bottom, there's an email address for you to send it to. So all your needs and everything is registered on board with Carnival. So once again, you go to that page, you click that link, you fill out this form, and you email it to the link listed below. So let's have a look at the limits for mobility devices. It says here, due to safety considerations, mobility devices cannot be stored in corridors or public areas. Be aware of that. In order to purchase a standard stateroom, your device must be allowed to fit in its 22-inch wide entry doorway, and when stored, must allow for safe exit from the stateroom, so you can't block the door with it once you get it in the room. Guests who bring scooters that are larger than 21 inches wide or travel with multiple scooters in the same stateroom must purchase a fully accessible stateroom with a wider doorway, which is 32 inches, or rent a smaller scooter appropriately suited for their stateroom. And guests must be prepared to collapse their device so it can be safely stored away in a way that allows for safe exit from their stateroom. It's all about safety, people. It's all about safety. You're going to get embarkation assistance when you get on the ship. All guests are greeted as they enter into the embarkation facility. Assistance is available curbside if required. Guests with disabilities are escorted to the special assistance area for check-in. Any guests that are blind or have low vision and are traveling alone will be met and escorted to guest services for further assistance. And guests who are blind will also be offered an orientation tour of the ship once you get on board. Assistance is provided upon request to guests with vision and hearing disabilities who are not traveling alone. Now, when you debark the ship, you'll get help as well, obviously. Not just when we get back to the home port, but when you're ashore. Sometimes we have water shuttles. I've done all my research and read up on this, and I could be wrong in my statement, but I believe you can get assistance on the water shuttles if you're comfortable with that on every US port except Kona, Hawaii. It does appear that that is one port you may not be able to get off at. It may not be capable of getting you on that water shuttle. But all the other ports where they have water shuttles, there are help for you to get on the shuttles at the gangway off the ship and obviously back onto the ship as well. With the home port, you'll be given all the instructions you need. If you do not require special assistance, you may take advantage of the express carry-off program. Guests who require assistance will debark when your zone is called, and wheelchair escorts may not be allowed to assist with luggage handling nor collection in the terminal building as per port regulations. But you can get one of the porters to help you when you're there and everything, and they'll help you get that, and it will all be fine. So I think the bottom line on all of this is Carnival's going to help you with everything you need. It's more important that you know what they are going to help you with. So hopefully that's what I'm helping you with here. Another thing, when you get on the ship with the safety drills, you must attend the mandatory guest safety briefing. Now, as I talk to you, we are in the wonderful coronavirus situation we're in right now. I very confidently see a big change coming to this. I did actually see something today that Royal Caribbean, they're considering going to e-muster drills. And I have a firm belief that the way we do muster drills is going to be a thing of the past. So take this with a grain of salt. But as of right now, you must attend the mandatory guest safety briefing. You will be given the option of going to a dedicated area adjacent to the muster station. And the information regarding emergency procedures is available in closed captioning format on the stateroom TV. Safety briefing instructions are also available in an alternate format upon request. But again, I think this is all going to change very soon, but that is as of right now. Now, when you go to entertainment venues, the theatres have areas with accessible seating for all guests with disabilities. Reserved signs are placed in accessible seating locations. Guests who are deaf, hard of hearing, or with low vision may access the theatre 15 minutes prior to the start of the show for seating allocated in the front of the theatre. There are listen technologies, infrared system, wireless audio headsets which amplify sounds. They're available on all ships in the main lounges, so make sure you ask and they will get them for you. You can, of course, bring your own headset or get one on board by contacting guest services. Shore excursions. If you want to do shore excursions, of course you can do shore excursions. Now, you may be wondering which ones can I or can I not do. If you travel with Carnival, one thing that's really good is when you go to the shore excursions page, there's a filter on the left-hand side that you can put down all the things you're looking for, and there is one where they can list all the tours that are wheelchair accessible. So you just click on that box right now. I've put an arrow there and filter it, and it will list all of the excursions I have available that have wheelchair accessibility. Simple, but very, very helpful. If you don't do the Carnival shore excursions, and as you may have seen some of my other videos, I don't always recommend doing them. But if you do other ones, I'm sure that if you contact shore excursions, outside of Carnival, you can contact them and make sure that those excursions are wheelchair accessible as well. Children with Disabilities Youth Programs. It covers everything on here, what you can do. Carnival will work with you, so all children in their designated age area in the youth program are taken care of. Each child's needs are assessed to determine how they can be accommodated and integrated into the program. You will need to complete a registration form, and you may choose to have their child move down one age group to accommodate a disability. Carnival does not provide one-on-one attention, but the parent, guardian, or assigned helper may stay and participate in activities with the child. Parents will be provided with a phone, so if you have any emergencies, they'll get a hold of you straight away. But one thing to be aware of, with the exception of EpiPens, the staff will not administer any medication. It's very important to know that one. Due to safety concerns, team members cannot lift or carry any guests. And then a couple more notes at the bottom there that you can take note of as well. So they do a very comprehensive program for children with disabilities. And, you know, make sure you know what's going on there. Autism and cognitive disability. You are encouraged to select an arrival appointment time between 1 and 2 p.m., which is less congested typically. So don't try and get there early in the morning when there's a bunch of people in the terminal area trying to get on. If you need assistance once you arrive at the terminal, just ask for a supervisor. And once you are on board, the family may request a private safety briefing if needed. And if you have any special dining or meal requests, just coordinate with the maitre d' on board. Every embarkation day is usually about 2, 3 o'clock. The maitre d' will be at the front desk of one of the restaurants, and you can go up there and talk to them and make all your requests and everything right there. So just when you get on board, ask what time that will be if you can't see it immediately, and make sure you go there and talk to them and get all that stuff sorted away. If you do have dining and specific dietary requirements, as I said, the maitre d' will allocate dining areas appropriate to the guest needs. You can go and visit them when you get on board. If you have specific dietary needs or allergies, make sure the wait staff and maitre d' are aware, and it gives you a couple of examples there of what the dietary needs may be. Service dogs. You are allowed on board if they are trained to do work or perform a specific task that assets the individual with their disability. Emotional, therapy, and support dogs are not recognized by the Department of Justice and are not permitted on Carnival, so be aware of that. The housekeeping department shall furnish a relief box and litter. Guests are responsible for taking care of your service dogs, and they must behave. No excessive barking, bothering other guests, etc. You have to remain in the control of the owner on a harness or leash in public areas and cannot be left on the ship unattended. Service dogs may be brought into all public and common use areas, including the dining rooms and Lido deck. However, no swimming in the pools or the jacuzzis. Guests must visit the Department of Agricultural website or their service dog's veterinarian to determine each port's admission policy. So it's not Carnival's responsibility to let you know if you can take your pet ashore. You have to confirm that in advance. Guests must provide current vaccination records in addition to what governing local port officials require. And Mexican ports require service dogs have received an ectoparasite and endoparasite treatment no more than 15 days prior to the arrival to port. No idea what that means, but I'm sure you do, or your vet does if you don't. Medical and related auxiliary services. These are your oxygen, your CPAP, BiPAP, your nebulizers, and your diabetes and medicine storage. Guests who bring their own oxygen must be instructed to turn it over to their room steward, who will give it to guest services for storage. Oxygen given to the porters will be brought to the crew gangway so guest services can pick up and store appropriately. The medical oxygen is securely stored in an adequate designated area, and the oxygen is distributed to the guest upon calling guest services. So basically what that means is you can't keep it in your room the whole time. You can only get it when you need it, and they will bring it up to you. For the CPAP, BiPAP nebulizer, the distilled water can be ordered pre-cruise by calling the fun shops or via room service. And for diabetes and medicine storage, if a guest requires injectable medication, a sharps container can be requested at the time of booking. If a guest requires medication to be refrigerated, Medicoolers are available in limited quantities on a first-come, first-served basis. If a Medicooler is not available, the ship's medical center will arrange storage, but I'm sure you can bring your own small one on as well, as long as it meets the size requirements for regular coolers, and then you can get that taken care of yourself. For dialysis, There's a lot of stuff on here. The ships do not have kidney specialists or dialysis equipment, and supplies available on board, just so you are aware. Guests must have been stable on their home dialysis treatments for a period of at least 12 months prior to sailing, and you can read through all those other requirements right there. You'll be sick of the sound of my voice just reading things out right now, but I'm just going to waffle on while giving you enough time, hopefully, to read this page. And if I go on too quick, you can always hit that pause button and go back. But there's all the information you need on dialysis. For blind or low vision guests, the following items are available at the guest service office for guests who are blind or have low vision. There is a Braille in-cabin good-to-know information sheet. You can get a large print fun times, menus, and shore excursion information. You can get an audio format for the Carnival fun times. Is also available on each ship. Braille signage is available on board. I've seen it all over. It definitely is there. Specific computers in the Internet Cafe are equipped with screen reader software. Just ask and they'll show you which ones. Additional requests for information or alternate format may be made at the guest services desk or by contacting Guest Access pre-cruise. Go back to that first page I showed you, and on that website link, there will be somewhere you can contact them, and I'm going to include that as well. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. Auxiliary aids for the deaf and hard of hearing. There are in-cabin alert systems available upon request. They include TTY telephone, bed shaker, fire alarm alerts, phone amplifiers, visual tactile alert notification, phone alerts, and a door knocker. A safety briefing video with open caption is televised in all staterooms throughout the cruise. It will be on when you first get on the ship, so you'll know where it is. Carnival created TV content has closed captions. When available through our service provider, closed captions are offered for certain in-cabin TV programs and movies, and guest services can turn on closed captioning for our outdoor movies if you request. So there's all the stuff you can get right there. Nice little pictures. Sign language interpreters. Carnival does not employ sign language interpreters on board our vessels, but they can retain the services of a sign language interpreter. You must notify Guest Access immediately and send your request in writing to access@carnival.com and give them 60 days notice prior to the sailing so they can hire interpreters. Now, they are for onboard functions only. They are not required to be available for shore tours and dining. They will assist with food orders, but will not be seated with the deaf guests in the dining room. And interpreters are hired on a shared basis. And we've seen this many times. It's actually very funny if you ever go to the comedy club for the adult comedy and there's a sign language interpreter in there. The comedians always have a bit of a laugh with them. But, you know, obviously very, very helpful. And Carnival does a great job of getting those for you to help you with your cruise. So yeah, another great thing that Carnival does. So I mentioned this earlier, but if you do need to contact anybody, there's a phone number for the Guest Access team, 1-800-438-6744, extension 70025, or you can email access@carnival.com at any time with any questions you may have in relation to your cruise, so you have much more understanding of what to expect. But definitely check that page out I showed you earlier. It's very, very helpful. And when we do all of our Carnival classes online, we get this little thank you, so I figured I'd share it with you too. Thank you, everybody. So there you have it, Cruising World. A lot of information there, really, and hopefully that helps you. Taught me a lot. You know, as a travel agent, we can help you with a lot of that stuff. I'm going to be putting up another video shortly about, you know, what a travel agent can do for you in general when you book a cruise with Carnival over booking it for yourself. So, you know, we've got a lot of inside advantages to making sure we can get you the right cabins, where they are, what's available on what cruises. You know, so we can do a lot to help you out if you want to do that as well. So hopefully that was helpful for you. If you have any questions whatsoever, as always, I'll be putting my email up at the end of this. Hit that little subscribe button if you want to subscribe and get more of my videos, which I hope are helpful to you. All right, wish me luck. And it's my birthday today. Sorry, I forgot about that. Happy birthday to me. Thank you. I knew you were going to say that. See you later, Cruising World. Any questions? Email me anytime. cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. I promise I'll reply as soon as possible. Want to book a cruise or any type of travel? We are travel agents. Check out our site, elitetravelconnection.com, or email me, Mick, at elitetravelconnection.com. We are here for you. Finally, subscribe, please. Pretty please. You know you want to. Go on. I won't beg you. Okay, I'm begging. Please. Subscribe! Thank you.